Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Absolute chaos in the Rostermania world this morning. So many announcements yesterday, some officially stepping away, but what is going on with Zekken over the last couple of days? Lots of rumours that he might be going to NRG in place of SOM, or maybe going back to Sentinels. But all of a sudden, there was a massive rumour coming out of nowhere that a verbal agreement has been reached with MIBR to play with Aspas for the upcoming season, and Zekken will be leaving Sentinels after all. Where does that leave SEN? What does it mean for the rest of the Americas? Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new. As always, you're not going to want to miss any of the updates on this over the coming days. NRG confirm that SOM is stepping away. Now, this has been coming, right? We've kind of known this for a few days now. Kind of unfortunate, the timing around all this, because if it had been confirmed, at the end of the day, they only did like a little video for SOM. They could probably have got this ready before it got leaked yesterday, because yesterday there was like this big leak, and it was like, well, the team's going to get a new player instead of SOM. So what else is he going to do other than step away? Now, I think the big confirmation here is that this is not, as SOM says in his own words, a retirement. He wants to step away for another while longer, and fair enough, right? Like, he does imply, he does say that he wants to come back. But I will say, we've seen these before in FPS esports and plenty of esports really, and sports in general. People say, well, I don't know if I'm ready to retire, but I definitely want a break. I want to step away. And then they never come back, right? So I think there is a possibility that the World Championship 2025 was the final tournament that SOM ever plays. But what a career, right? If he does call it a day now, like he says he's going to take a break and he intends to come back at some point. And, you know, like, fair play, taking a break. I think it makes perfect sense. We didn't even know if he was going to really come back and compete on this level this year. For him to convert the, let's say, prodigy status in some ways that he showed in the early part of CS to then, like in the early part of his career, to making the transition to VALORANT, having some ups and plenty of downs as well, then making it work this year on NRG. Like, what a result, honestly. Like, so happy for SOM and his whole team this year. It was a sensational story to end out the year. And yeah, SOM says, like, until next time, one last time. FNS says, no way. Like, so it was a big story yesterday, of course. As Ethan says, I had the privilege of being here for your whole career, from watching you throw AWPs away at FPL, to competing against you in CS, to playing with and against you plenty of times in VALORANT, and finally accomplishing our biggest goal together of winning champs this year. Enjoy retirement, old man. So he does say, you know, retirement here. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is SOM going to return? I think the chances that SOM comes back are like 50%, maybe lower. Something like that anyway. But regardless, it's a great story. I think we kind of knew it was coming. I think even leading up to the big World Championship Grand Final, there was a feeling that, well, if SOM does end up winning this in LRG win, there's a world where he definitely steps away. Now, the same thing could have been true for Ethan to a degree, but that is apparently not going to be happening. So SOM in his video said, definitely not forever. With the Champions win, what better time than now to take a break? So he says he's definitely not stepping away forever. He's definitely going to come back at some point, and I think that'd be great to see. But yeah, congrats to SOM on a phenomenal career and what a result that he had at the World Championship. Now, there were talks, could SOM be stepping away in addition to somebody else? Because typically the team that's just won champs, they stay together, right? Fair enough. But SOM's stepping away, so they need a fifth, right? That's the key talking point now. Now, they maybe could have needed an additional player if Ethan also decided to step away, but no. Apparently, Ethan is absolutely locked in. He's not happy with 2 World Championships, and nor should he be. Well, he should be, but you know what I'm saying. I respect the fact that Ethan's like, I want more, I'm hungry. And apparently, he's going to stay around for 2 more years, a 2-year contract extension with NRG. Quality player. Excited to see what else he can achieve with that roster. So we'll come back to NRG in a second. Before we get there, Leviathan, they've got a few things going on. They let go quite a few players, most notably enough Okonos, really, of course, who stepped into the team for some time last season. I think he was spotted teaming with or queuing with John QT the other day, so I don't know if there's anything in that, but Sentinels are certainly trialing a lot of players right now. They also confirm, Lev, that Com and Tex are both gone as well, so a full wipe from Leviathan. No real surprises there, but they will be making some big changes for next season. We've also got 100 Thieves officially letting go of Boostio. Of course, it was known for some time, but it wasn't official yet necessarily that Boostio was gone. Part of a great run for 100T for some time, hoping that Boostio can get back next year with a better opportunity. His mother actually came out on social media and explained a few things as to why Boosters had a difficult year. As she says, I'm so proud of my son. Boostio always enjoyed the hype, fun and laughter you brought to the game. You are my happiness. Thank you for taking me to different countries for your tournaments and watching you live your dream. We go next. 100 Thieves, thank you for letting Boostio shine. He helped win Stage 1, 4th in Hong Kong, and made Esports World Cup. His girlfriend broke up with him after a 7-year relationship while 100T was in China for the Shanghai tournament, of course, which we didn't know about until now. And he lost one of his favourite uncles, my brother, shortly after returning from China. So clearly a very difficult time for Boostio. May 2026, he says, be a better year. So thought it was just interesting to hear that side of the story. I don't know if there's been anything from Boostio yet about this, but yeah, we'll see. He did tweet out in the middle of September that he's looking for a team, still contracted to 100 Thieves, although of course that is no longer the case. The other story in the Americas, and this is a pretty surprising one, is Alim. So I mentioned the other day that Alim was having trials. We thought maybe Cloud9 were giving him a trial, and I was expecting Alim, given one of the absolute top prospects in Tier 2, to get signed somewhere from QOR. Apparently, the team that has won that race is Furia, which is not what I was expecting, really. I did not expect Furia Alim. But Furia are going for a very big rebuild. They recognize, and as well they should, that if this year doesn't go well for them, they probably are not getting their partnership contract renewed. So they may well need to take some risk, and I like it, right? I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the rest of their team. There's all sorts of rumors about Koala Noob, and, you know, we think that maybe Artzan is coming on. But this apparently are these are apparently the 4 guys. Basic, Artzan, Koala Noob, and Alim. That is the 4-man team so far. So I don't know really what I think about that, but it is kind of all over the shop, but I respect it, right? I respect taking some level of risk, and yeah, I think maybe Alim could be very impressive this year, and maybe other teams will feel like we could have tried harder to get him, but I thought that he was going to end up in Tier 1. Apparently it's Furia who are going to get the job done there. Paper Rex, they've confirmed that Devai and something, they're not going anywhere. They've extended their contracts for the new season, but again, it's kind of all going on in the Pacific right now. We'll get back to the Pacific in a second, just as we cover Fnatic, because Fnatic Kojo, the team manager, says this: 4 out of 6. So there were 6 contracts that needed to be re-signed, 3 of which were for players, 3 of which were for coaches. Now, we're pretty sure that Milan, their head coach, is going to be staying on. The players, though, particularly interesting. Kayak and Alpha have a longer-term deal, so they weren't in the conversation. The 3 players in question were Boaster, Crashies, and Chronicle. Now, Kojo says 4 out of 6 tick, 1 cross, and 1 question mark. Now, we think the cross is for Scut, who was their assistant coach. He's now got an offer, we think, with Vitality, so he's going over there. The question mark is very interesting because, well, we think that Boaster signed an extension. We think that Milan signed an extension. I'm guessing the other coach, apparently Zved, the other coach, or whatever his name is, Zed, is signing an extension too. So that leaves the question mark as probably Chronicle, because rumor has it as of yesterday that Crashies has also extended his contract for 1 year. So there were loads of questions about this, whether Crashies would stay, whether he would go. You know, I've mentioned a couple of times that Instagram post he did that kind of implied it could be the end of the road. But apparently no, Crashies and Boaster as a duo, they are not going anywhere, and, you know, as well they probably shouldn't, right? So Crashies, Alpha, Boaster, and of course Kayak, those 4 look to be staying. According to reports, Boaster's extended his deal for a year, Crashy's extended his deal for a year, Kayak and Alpha still under contract. So the question mark, as far as we can guess, is quite possibly Chronicle, and that's very interesting because Chronicle has been linked maybe to another couple of teams. As I've said a couple of times, Liquid, I'm sure, must be thinking about whether that could be a thing. So, you know, not to say that this won't happen. Doesn't look like Chronicle has made a decision quite yet. Of course, it would be a big loss for Fnatic, but of course, Kojo will try and get that done, right? He intends to keep the whole roster together. If that question mark is Chronicle, I guess time will tell on that. The other update in the Pacific is on Texture. So according to Tanmay, Texture will stay with Gen.G. We know that Gen.G blew it up the other day. They dropped a load of players. Doesn't necessarily mean that they will not bring some of them back. Texture apparently is going to be coming back according to some rumors, but then then Arnold, their CEO, said, don't believe the Gen.G Val re-signing news. Re-signing, resigning, whatever, probably needed a hyphen in there, but whatever. There were some rumors that they were just going to bring those guys back. He says don't believe any of that stuff, so who knows, but let's move on. Icy, Evil Geniuses, he says, I'm still being considered in EG's rebuild process. I've been allowed to explore options for 2026, confident my abilities, etc, etc. We know that he didn't have a great year on Evil Geniuses. I don't expect they'll keep him around, but I guess we'll see. The big update, however, of yesterday on the Sentinels front was Bang. So we've seen now for some time the scrims they've been playing. Bang has not really been featured in any of them, so I think this was coming, right? This is pretty inevitable. I think this is pretty unfortunate, the way that it's all played out for Sen, because I actually think Bang is a pretty quality player. I know that Sentinels will probably look back on this and say, well, Bang, he didn't quite fit the molds, like what we were trying to do last year. There's been lots of criticism over the last couple of weeks about Kaplan's role in this whole thing, the way that they approach the game, the read on the meta, playing for a lot of retakes. Let's say maybe not allowing Narrate to fly as they could have done. They did try the double duelist for a while. It didn't really work. It didn't feel like Bang really fit that team as well as he might have done, but it's not like Bang was an unknown tier 2 prospect, right? Like, they had plenty of time to watch Bang's play and understand what he was going to bring to the table. But it seems that they were very clear, because I don't think I saw Bang in like any trials at all. So as soon as they decided that they were going to do trials for their roster, I think it was pretty clear to Sen that they were going to move on from Bang. I still think Bang could be a quality player. I don't really think he fit with that team particularly well, and he wasn't very impressive this year. It's understandable they're going to move on. But yeah, that's the first official announcement from Sentinels. Bang gives his take and says, want to thank them for the opportunity and for the coaches for working as hard as they did and making my time there a great experience. Disappointed with the year, but I'm going to try and get more motivated to succeed going forward. So now we've got to talk about what that means for Zekken and the chaos that has unfolded this morning. So this guy is the master of trolling on stream in these Rostermania periods. He comes out and he says, lock in smokes to prepare for my new role on my new team, Team Secret. So again, talk was NRG, they're going to need a player instead of Som. Are they looking to get Zekken in to play that role? Are they going to swap things around in terms of roles over there with Zekken coming in? That's a very interesting question. We know that he's out of contract with Sentinels. He's taken the Sentinels branding and promo carousel out of his stream. Now, as Bobo points out here, now that doesn't necessarily mean that much, because we know he's out of contract, right? We know the contract's over, so he's not mandated to do anything like that for sure, but it maybe means something, right? Like, if he's out of contract there, then he doesn't have to run it. Maybe he's doing it as bait, but apparently not, because this morning, this just absolute bombshell just dropped pretty much while I was recording this video, so I had to do a couple of things. Zekken has reached a verbal agreement with MIBR in the Americas. Now, this is like completely come out of nowhere, right? We've talked about Zekken probably looking to come back to Sentinels, like it would have kind of made sense from both parties, but after being there for a fair few years, rumor now has it MIBR are getting the job done. We saw Cortasia was with Sentinels trialing with them, we think the other day, and Zekken with the opportunity to play with Aspas. I mean, what have I said over the last few days? If you're MIBR, you do everything to keep Aspas happy. If Aspas wants to play with Zekken, you go and get him. And that apparently is what's going to happen. I mean, the article is saying that this is basically a done deal. They've reached a verbal agreement, and he's going to depart Sentinels, and he's going to turn up with MIBR. So this is their roster right now. Aspas, Zekken, and that's it. That's it, right? Like, nothing about Verdo, potentially. Like, it's just Aspas and Zekken looking for 3. I don't really know what else to say other than this is pretty wild. And yes, very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. It also totally blows the doors off what the other teams might be doing as well, because for Sentinels, if you've lost Zekken, what do you do? Or what's your route now? Back in. Especially when John QT is also out of contract. Is he going to come back? Is he going to want to come back in these circumstances? Good question. They were spotted trialing I Don't Shower 69,000, which we think is actually Xander, formerly, of course, of 100 Thieves. Pretty interesting, because Bang, because he went to Sentinels, Xander ended up on 100T. Maybe it's now going to go the other way around. But yeah, it's all going on. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.